Hi there, Gregor here, and welcome to part 2 of Learn to play the pentatonic scale for guitar. Now that you know some minor details about the pentatonic scale and why it's a great way to start improvisation and soloing, it's time to learn how to play the pentatonic scale. And to cover the entire fretboard, we need to learn 5 positions. But what is a position, you might ask? You might have heard similar terms like pentatonic box, pentatonic shape, or pentatonic pattern. They all mean the same, so we can use these terms interchangeably. A position, a box, a shape, a pattern, choose your own word, is a narrow and exactly defined area of your fretboard where the notes of a scale are located. So let's take a look at the first position and then establish 2 ground rules for learning all positions. This is the first position of the A minor pentatonic. And just in case that this diagram isn't self-explanatory, let me briefly explain how to read those kinds of diagrams. What you see here is a visual representation of your guitar fretboard. At the bottom you see the low E string, and on the top you see the high E string. The dots with the letters inside are the notes you have to fret with your left hand. But the first position in A minor is the only position where you have to use open strings. So these notes here are open strings, so you can't fret them for obvious reasons. Let me demonstrate this. Now it's time to establish 2 ground rules for learning all positions. First, start the pentatonic scale on the root note and end the pentatonic scale on the root note. Practicing scale in this manner is allowing you to hear and recognize the sound of a scale more easily. And second, memorize the root notes. That's important for 2 reasons. First, once you know where the notes of a scale are located, it's allowing you to shift between positions, so you can solo all over the fretboard more easily. And second, you can play the scale in a different key once you know where the notes on the fretboard are. But that's the topic for another video. For now, let me give you the big picture overview of how the 5 positions can cover the entire fretboard. This diagram is showing you all 5 positions and how they cover the entire fretboard. I know that it's confusing and it isn't helpful at all for a beginner, but it can be very useful to see the evolution of this diagram. It's important to see how every position interlocks with its neighboring position. So let's reconstruct this diagram by going back to the first position and move on from there. But wait, that's not the entire fretboard, you might say. That's only half of it. Exactly, you're right. But, as you may know, the 12th fret on every guitar is the octave. That means that the note names are starting to repeat themselves. That means if you want to play higher than the 5th position of the minor pentatonic, you have to use the first position again, but higher. Let me demonstrate this on the guitar. Alright, let me play the highest position for you in the A minor pentatonic scale. That's the 5th position. It's the position where we left. So, as you can see, here is the 12th fret. And if I want to play higher than the 5th position and higher than the 12th fret, I don't have to learn a new position, because the 12th fret is the octave fret. That means that the note names on the 12th fret are exactly the same note names as the open strings. So if this is an E, so is this an E as well, but an octave higher. And as a result of this, the whole note name structure from the 12th fret up to the higher frets is exactly the same note name structure as the note names from the open string up to the 12th fret. So you really don't have to learn a new position because you can use the old positions. Let me show you this on a diagram. Alright, notice that the first position has the exact same shape as the quote-unquote 6th position. Alright, let's move on. Notice that the second position has the exact same shape as the quote-unquote 7th position. And this here is exactly the same shape as this here. Alright, I think you get the point. Now let me show you some cool ways on how to practice these scales. If this is the first scale that you learn on the guitar, then please do not make the mistake and try to learn all positions at the same time. It's very likely that it'll take you a long way round if you try to eat an elephant without slicing it. Trust me, learning a scale is a long-term goal. There are no shortcuts. You really have to know the position that you currently work on inside out and own it before you move on to the next. So, here's how you can get these positions under your fingers. I recommend that you start with learning the third position of the minor pentatonic first, because it's unquestionable the most convenient to play around with, especially in the beginning. So, according to our ground rules, we start the pentatonic scale on the root note, we end the pentatonic scale on the root note, and we memorize the root notes as well. So, here are the root notes you have to memorize. The first one is on the low E string on the 5th fret. The next one is on the 7th fret on the D string, and the next one is on the 5th fret on the E string, on the high E string. So, this is how the first exercise is going to look like. I know that this exercise is plain and simple and might be boring, but that's totally okay. I cannot overemphasize how important it is for guitar beginners to spend at least a few minutes for some weeks with this kind of exercise. These kinds of basic exercises are very important for guitar beginners because you are building your technique and you're getting to know the position very well. Alright, if you feel comfortable with this exercise, then add the second exercise to your practice schedule. It's a triplet sequence. Alright, and if you feel comfortable with this exercise, then add the third exercise to your practice schedule. Alright, there we have it. Now you should know how the 5 minor pentatonic scale positions can cover the entire fretboard and how you can practice them effectively so that you got them soon under your fingers. And if you want to see some detailed video instructions on how the exercises are performed on every position, then visit my blog. There you can see some tabs as well. The link is in the description. And in the next part of this mini-series, I will show you some cool ways on how you can create your own licks and solos by using these 5 positions. So, in this way, stay tuned and be your own teacher.